Hello, this is Sad here, and welcome back to Model Kit Monday. Gundam Build Divers is in full swing. However, I'm going back and taking a look at a kit from Gundam Build Fighters Try. Now, this is the Transient Gundam. The Transient Gundam is from Team Celestial Sphere. They're all relatively 00 based, hence Celestial Sphere as kind of a reference to Celestial Being. The Transient Gundam is the team leader alongside the G-Portent and Gundam the End, completing that team of 3. I had always intended to review this kit, and then I got busy, and I only reviewed the G-Portent, and I never got to the Transient or the End. So, per request by the Awesome Blade, is one of my commenters on last week's video on Live Robo, he wanted to see the Transient Gundam, and here it is. I've got a couple more kits that are kind of newer in the building stage right now, so I thought, you know what, this is a perfect time to review Transient Gundam, and I'll probably follow it up with Gundam the End when I have another one of those gaps. But yes, let's take a look at this kit. This kit came out in 2016, I believe, because it's towards the end of Build Fighters Try, and it is one that I really love. This is one of those kits that, when building it, you don't realize it's a high grade, because everything's so clean and there's so many different parts. There's a lot of part separation with this. There are certain details, like the GN drives one affixed piece on the back. It's no separate pieces there. But other than that, a lot of the details were put in. The head was a lot of pieces that, were really complicated. Not as much as like real grade Exia. And because it's not specifically based on any mobile suit, you get a very fresh new design. That's what I loved about Team Celestial Sphere, is that even though G-Portent was basically an Exia, Transient was basically 00, and the End was basically a throne, you had so much differences that they weren't made from base model kits, which means that the overall kit feels fresh and new, which I really, really appreciate. I also appreciate this guy's clear plastic usage. There's a lot of it, which I think probably was part of the reason for his original price point. Can't remember that off the top of my head, but we got clear on the wings, we got clear little details like these circles in the elbow and knee areas, as well as on the side of the head, plus on the forehead. There's a lot of clear parts here, not to mention the chest as well, which I completely forgot about. There's a lot more clear parts than you normally get, and it wasn't something like the Scramble Gundam where I felt like there was too many clear parts, which is why I never got that kit, because I thought it was too much clear, but this is like the right amount of balance. I haven't done any panel lining work on this guy, but it'll probably make him pop a little bit. He is a stark white color. Let's take a closer look at his head. Now the head, oddly enough, I think the head kind of reminds me of the Bale from Iron Blooded Orphans, as well as the Kimura's Vidar, which came out after this, so I think some inspiration was there. But I love the way that there's a shiny reflective sticker below the clear plastic in the chest, which really grabs light nicely. But overall, really nice looking kit. I do really like this guy. So let's go over the articulation, because, it's a high grade. It should have a lot of articulation, because it's a modern high grade. So, focusing on him and not the background. Thank you, camera. He's got the standard polycap neck joints, so you get a good range of movement. I find he's looking down a lot, just because his head kind of runs into the back here. There's not a whole lot of clearance, but you can get, and you can't really get an upward angle because of that lack of clearance. The shoulders here, what's really cool is that they put this inner piece on it, so you can actually move it forward. That's also a standard polycap joint, but because of that, you can actually get some pretty good range of motion there, which is really impressive. Of course, this just works as a rotation. The arm moves out separate from the shoulder pad, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, wrist ball joints. Here we have a polycap waist in 2 positions, so you can actually get some really good bent poses. The hips, outward, forward, rotation, double, or actually it's a single knee with an extra movement right there, but you get a very, very good range there. As well as the foot, there's a little bit of pivoting there, and some side to side. It's not the same kind of joint off the Barbatos, since that came later, but it does have side to side. Another note, if you do cut this waist piece, you'll be able to move it separately. It does have that option. I haven't done that yet, but I really want to panel line this guy as well as Portent in the End. So I might go back and do that, and I might cut that skirt while I'm at it. But this is basically, this is the base kit when you get it out of the box. Oh, also not to mention, or not to forget, I should say, I should also mention that this piece kind of moves. It does come off if you pull it too far, but it does actually have a hinge, which is good. And these are on ball joints, as well as these being able to articulate down in any way you want, kind of for that wing effect, which is cool. So there is Transient. Now, looking at his accessory count, not a whole lot, but considering what you get, it works really well. So you notice the open hands that he's got. He also has holding hands as well as his spear. Now in the series, he used one spear originally, which again, nice clear plastic. It does split for the firing mode, and it does lock down there, which I think is nice. So you can kind of see that there. It's a lot of clear plastic, like I said. This also does split in half if you want him to just kind of carry maybe the top half or the back half, which is pretty cool. And then the hand just kind of slides on there. I like the hand design. It grips it really well. Now what's cool is, just like towards the end of the series, this kit was released much later than its first appearance, and that's because it came with two, which he had in the final fight against Team Tri Fighters. So you got that, and just like with G-Portent, you get a nice little stand. This one being a clear or translucent blue, so you just pull this part here. You pull a little clip piece out if you can. I just think I just got it stuck in there. Yeah, you pull this part out like that, clip it here, or any other position you want, split this, clip it like that, and then you take your Transient, who has a convenient stand peg down here, which is why this moves out of the way. So now you can get your Transient Gundam up and ready to fight. But of course, you do need to add one of those spears. I'm just going to pose them with one for the moment, but there we go. We'll get that. They're kind of only at a downward angle, which is appropriate based on the type of weapon and how you used it in the series, but it does limit your options significantly. But you can get some nice kind of dynamic pose. This is a very elegant mobile suit in Build Fighters, so really want to give it kind of that elegancy. So overall, Transient Gundam here on his own, really nice. I think that this is probably a good kit to track down. If you're someone starting out in Gunpla, it may not wow you as much as some others. I think this is one of those things that, as a more experienced builder, I can appreciate the simplicity and the sleekness of the design. You know, you deal with kits like, for example, back there, the Finiche Renisata, which is like very complicated, and then you have like a shield that gets in the way of the arms, and the can's really big, or Lightning Gundam Full Burnie, who's behind there. You kind of get sometimes a lot of Gunpla, they get big backpacks or something that just kind of throws off their balance. The Transient does not have these problems. It is very solid. It is very clean. It's very crisp. It gives you weapon options. It doesn't give you a whole lot. But it gives you a stand in the box, which is really appropriate because this thing's pretty much only flying around in the series. And overall, I definitely recommend tracking this down. It is an older kit. It's been out for a couple years, but I'm not too sure how hard it is to get. It was distributed in America by Bluefin brands. So take a look around, find one on the internet, definitely worth the pickup. And of course, he makes a great companion piece for G-Portent and Gundam the End. This is a great set of Gunpla, and I'm glad to have reviewed the Transient Gundam, so thank you again, Awesome Blade, for recommending and requesting this review. It's definitely kind of fun to go back and look at older Gunpla, especially ones that I built, years ago, and now that, at this point, I'm like, okay, time to go back and see what made that great. And I definitely want to take a look at Gundam the End. After I got a couple more reviews coming up, I might just slip this in a couple weeks and we'll take a look. Gundam the End is a little bit complicated, so that'll be a bit of a longer video. But overall, I did enjoy Team Celestial Sphere, not only as great mobile suit designs, but also as characters in the series. They were a highlight of Gundam Build Fighters Try for me, and I'm glad to have all three of these. And I was picking these up the minute they came out, so it was kind of fun to get them one by one. Anyways, that does it for this week on Model Kit Monday. Stay tuned for next week's video, which should be pretty legendary. And also check out Hero Club for all your Gunpla news and more. Until next time, this is Sam out saying goodbye.